BaconBit, Wanda.
BaconBit.
Leave it to BaconBit.
It was a BaconBit all along.
Oh.
Okay.
Save
So,
it.
I didn't say anything.
Close.
Hello, listener.
Hi.
Hey.
We decided, since it's been a week since the finale of WandaVision.
Yes.
Now
More than a
irrelevant.
A week and a couple hours.
Yeah, we can now discuss it. But we wanted to give our review, first a spoiler-free review
Yes.
of our experience with WandaVision, followed which we will give spoilers and have a full open discussion with no holds barred.
Yeah.
But we will let you know
We'll do them in,
when
in
that's
stages.
going to happen.
Light spoiler, medium spoiler, heavy spoiler.
Well, I mean, we're basically, it's light to medium at this beginning thing, and then we'll get into heavy spoilers.
Just trying to be more observant of the rules now that we have clearly defined them.
Yes.
So WandaVision, based on the IMDb synopsis, blends the style of classic sitcoms with the MCU, in which Wanda Maximoff and Vision, two superpowered beings living their ideal suburban lives, begin to suspect that everything is not as it
I
seems.
think you need to read that in more of a trailer voice.
Well, I try to change the
Everything
genre.
is not as
it seems. So this is Disney Plus's first Marvel project.
Yeah.
Yes,
like
the
we've
first-
previously seen Netflix do a couple back in the day, but they're kind of removed, maybe not, but kind of removed from the MCU itself. And so this is
Right.
the direct continuation, because this is now part of Phase 4 of Marvel.
And this is the first Marvel that we've seen since the last Spider-Man movie, right?
Yes. And they're revving the engines.
4 years ago at this point, yeah.
They're revving the engines and getting things going for Phase 4. And it's one of those things you watch and you're like, do I have to watch this to understand what's going to go on in later movies?
Probably.
Probably. There's some things that happen in this series. And it is a series, I believe it, well, I had it right here. It's 9 episodes. They're like a half hour
Yes.
each.
They're 47 minutes, but only 22 minutes is of content, and the rest is of telling you all of the cast in every language ever made.
Yes.
Yeah.
The longest credits I've ever seen.
Ever.
Well, that's every Netflix series these days. If you guys notice, every single Netflix series, they'll have the credits, and then there's like this long silence where even the music's ended, and it's just scrolling.
Oh, Netflix
Disney
always
Plus
goes
is
to the
worse.
next show. It always just skips the credits for me, so I never notice.
Disney Plus is so much worse.
Disney Plus does it too.
It's agree. Mandalorian was the same way.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
That's true.
Mandalorian.
But I think because people didn't look at the Mandalorian and say, "Ooh, it's 47 minutes long, therefore there must be something more that happens." But people did with WandaVision, because the episodes, especially for the first 3, are literally like sitcom length. They're about 22 minutes.
Yeah, they get shorter. And
So let's get it right into how they tell the story. These are decade-inspired satires of popular sitcoms.
Yes, so you're going to get like the Bewitched episode, or
Yes.
Leave It to Beaver episode, or the Brady Bunch episode, or Malcolm in
Malcolm
the
in the
Middle.
Middle, right.
Growing Pains, it felt like at the one.
Right. So decade-spanning, and it's Wanda is the main character, and it's husband and wife, Wanda and Vision, living their lives in a quaint neighborhood, but something is happening behind the scenes.
Now, I will pull back to when this first got announced of WandaVision. I was never invested in Wanda and Vision's relationships in the movies.
Why?
Because they kind of gloss over it. It's like,
Because there's no character there.
well, because they have to be together at first because he's watching her, but then all of a sudden the next movie it's like, oh, by the way, they're in a relationship because they've been together. And I was like, wait, what?
Why would the MCU develop a character not named Tony Stark?
Well, actually, these are the first 2 that aren't Tony Stark inspired.
Yeah, it's true.
That's
true.
kind of
But
nice.
even then,
although Vision is created by
I think maybe for the same reason
He was the voice, but back in
That's true. I had absolutely no desire to watch this.
Yeah.
And I didn't until the zeitgeist got a hold of me 5 or 6 episodes in.
Well, we were like, Zach, you better watch this, this show.
And Joel made me. But
I didn't make you. I simply pointed my firearm at you and said, watch this.
So
okay.
Disney Plus did I think a smart thing, and they released the first 2 episodes at the same time. I think they should have gone for the first 3, because the first 2 for me were slogs that I was like, I like the mystery here. I don't love the parody.
You could very quickly see, okay, there's a larger thing at play.
Yes.
But specifically...
But get past the meat here.
Well,
the first 2 don't do anything.
Well, the
but
thing is,
at least it wasn't 1 and then 1 and then 1 episode.
because this is a pretty stereotypical thing in television shows,
Yeah.
even movies, where it starts off with something and you're like, something's off here, but it doesn't. You don't realize it till later on. But they give you little hints every now and then. And even in the first 2 episodes, there's a few hints that something is
creepy
off.
moments for sure.
Yeah, and it is. It's those unsettling kind of like what's happening right now. Like my children watch this. Well, I shouldn't say my children. I had my oldest son. He watched this, and I would watch it, and then he'd come in and say, "Can I watch?" Because at first I didn't know what the content would be. Not that I expected it to be
From Marvel.
anything beyond
Right.
what we saw in the movies, but I just wanted to make sure. And these got a free pass for my 11-year-old son. He could watch any of these. But I did say there's a couple episodes I'm like, don't watch this with your little brothers and sisters because it will scare them.
There's some scary imagery.
Yeah. And especially at the beginning when those weird things would start happening, he'd be like, what was that? And I'm like, that just shows something's amiss.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, I wasn't invested in Vision or Wanda. And then when they said they were creating a series called WandaVision, I'm like, why would I care about that? But, and this sounds terrible, it was the only thing on that was new. And I was like...
Pandemic streaming, it makes us so... It's beer goggles for movies and TV.
But so I went, okay, I'll give it a shot. And I watched the episode and I'm like, that was kind of fun, the homage.
Right.
And the second episode, I admit, I went, okay, the joke has gone on. And the third episode went, and I'm like, let's get the plot going. And then it kind of did.
It did. In fact, I'm right there with you. I watched the first two, and I said on one of our BaconBit reviews, I was like, I'm done. I'm going to wait until the 9th episode has aired. Yeah. Then I will binge it. But Twitter...
Zack said something similar.
Yeah. I had no intention of watching it until it was over.
But I knew it would be spoiled immediately on social media. And so right when it aired, I was one of those people that's like, it's 1 a.m. I better watch this episode because tomorrow morning I'll check Twitter and someone will say, here was the character reveal of the week. Well, and so I did watch every episode as it aired.
I kind of forgot it was on the first couple of weeks. It was like, oh, yeah. They're talking about that. It must be on today.
Right.
By the end, though, because I didn't want to get spoiled, I'd get up first thing, like I'd wake up and be like, okay, I'm in bed, just going to turn on the TV here and watch WandaVision.
Yeah.
What an interesting thing, though, that the zeitgeist of, basically no spoilers pushed us to watch this.
And not only that, but it was week to week.
Yeah.
Because you had to wait a week to watch this. And unlike Stranger Things, for example, where it's like everyone's talking about it right now and then it's gone. You don't really see people talking about the never-ending story scene anymore.
I do feel like as soon as WandaVision ended for a day, it was part of conversation, water cooler, if you will.
Yeah.
But then it is now disappeared like Stranger Things, but it lasted 9 weeks instead of the one.
It's something that people stick around.
If it had ended better, then maybe...
Well, we'll get into that, Zach. We'll get into that.
So let's give your thoughts and feelings spoiler-free.
Joel, would you like to begin?
Sure. I will say I was not, like I said, not invested at the beginning, but it did grab a hold of me. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it kept me entertained.
Okay.
But it also did not deliver on it didn't answer some questions that it created. And I felt like...
I can't wait to find out in the spoiler section.
I just felt a little unfulfilled when it ended. And couldn't help but wonder if there were more. I'm like, well, what about all this? And so the ending did kind of make me go, but at the same time, there was enough intrigue that it kept me going. I don't know rewatchability. I don't know if this is one that I rewatch again and again because it is a time investment. This is 9 half-hour episodes.
Yeah.
Much longer than any Marvel movie.
And about 2 hours of credits.
Yes. Oh, I love the opening credits. That is the thing I love.
They nailed it.
They capture the essence of these old sitcom intros, and they did it.
It was actually the creators of the Book of Mormon musical and Frozen that wrote those intros.
Wow, and they crushed it.
And
yes, except for the Office one. The Office one's terrible, but yeah,
I think we're on something different there. But I can recommend it if you're already a fan of the MC Universe. Yeah. This is something I think you'll enjoy because it is characters they have some cameos pop in. Mm-hmm. That's fun little Easter eggs here and there. If you're not a fan, this is not one that you could just jump in. There is so much backstory involved in this. I don't think anyone who hasn't watched at least Avengers: Age of Ultron or probably even Endgame, then you're probably going to be a little bit lost and not care.
You definitely have to have seen the Avengers movie.
And I have read the comic series. So I didn't really know what to expect. It was so much fun to see people speculating week to week and then fall flat in the face with their wrong predictions. Mm-hmm. That was funny. Looking at you, Screen Rant. So overall, you know what? I'm going to give this 4 stars.
Wow.
Because
even with the ending,
like it might have gotten better, but I do think that this is one where I had such low expectations going in.
Okay.
That I was pleasantly surprised. And I thought, you know what? I enjoyed that experience and I enjoyed being part of the zeitgeist.
Right. So for someone like me, who doesn't really care for the standard format of the MCU, I liked seeing something different.
Yeah.
I was very open about, hey, this is challenging for what these movies have been. This is radically different.
Yeah.
And also seeing, and I know her as Scarlet Witch. I've never called her Wanda because who cares about Wanda?
Well, they couldn't
The MCU doesn't care about Wanda.
They couldn't use the name Scarlet Witch for the longest time
until Disney bought Fox for $94 billion.
Yes.
And so now they can use the term Scarlet Witch. That's the road of this show. But I kind of, even though I got tired of the format, it's like, oh, it's a sitcom, or this fits, or that wasn't funny. Like, I didn't laugh a ton, but I liked how it told the story, even outside of what was happening within the WandaVision world, inside this neighborhood of Westview.
Yeah.
But then by the end, if I'm going to say it, it's like I boarded the plane and it was kept alive by the acting of Elizabeth Olsen.
She was really good.
She was jet fuel.
Yeah.
Even when I didn't really care for Vision or whatever, I was like, okay, she's keeping me afloat.
Yeah.
And then it was like miles in the air. And then we ran out of fuel and we crashed and burned, and it has zero replay value.
Crashed and burned or just coasted and had
okay.
emergency
Actually,
landing.
I'll give you that. Emergency landing, half the crew and half the passengers died because it dropped over a solid letter grade based on the last episode alone, because it became an MCU movie.
Yeah, it's so interesting how it definitely takes new strides, and it's a character arc about processing grief and all these amazing, interesting
She's so
things
good in it
that have not been explored, and it's a new format. And it's not like some dumb ABC show. Like this is it. You guys are doing something different, and then literally Skybeam,
There's a little Skybeam
blasting
at one
colorful stuff at each other. Like, this isn't even an action show until the last episode. And suddenly it miraculously becomes the formulaic Marvel ending. It's like, why? This could have been something different.
Because it seems like, and I actually like the theories that people came up with week to week, because the show was asking you to come up with these theories.
Yeah.
And then it said, Last Jedi.
Yeah,
or Iron Man 3, here you go.
It's Ryan Johnsoning you.
And it was like, we tricked you into believing you liked this show. And then it's like, just kidding. And for me, that's where it fell apart, because it became whiz-bang action, really horrible jokes, and that's about it. It became, as Ryan George put it, a very offensive fart noise. That is my review for it. It was cool, and honestly, the twists they revealed, I was on board. And in fact, this show excited me so much that when it coasted,
Yeah.
I was so let
When we ran out
down.
of fuel and you had to do emergency landing.
I was so let down, and
I wouldn't say so let down. I kind of just went, okay, no harm done.
like, to be expected.
Yeah, because I didn't have any expectations going into it. So to me, it was kind of like, I got on the plane, had a really cool ride, rough landing, but hey, you know what? That was fun.
You survived the ride.
We got the
The other
SpaceX
half were
experience.
snapped. Yeah.
Then we exploded when we were up on impact.
So, Zach,
Pre-Modern Family, this show is like an 8.5.
I agree.
So whatever,
the
the 2000, the Office themed one that was like a Modern Family.
It was so bad.
So that was episode.
I think
8.
it meant like before the show Modern Family came.
No. I think that was episode 8. So 1 through 7, I actually really enjoyed the overall arc.
Don't get too specific.
Yeah, I enjoyed the overall arc. But I will say, I think Joel, you may have mentioned, or maybe it was Ken. I don't know. I didn't like the sitcom thing as long as it went.
It went on a little long.
It was like, okay, I get it.
The discovery of it was cool.
Yes.
And then they could have put it to bed.
Yes. I think that I would have tightened it up, maybe cut a couple episodes, but I think they had a clear idea of, we want to tell the story. Like, if you think about every episode, there's a purpose for it being its own episode. Mm-hmm. But I do think it, like, the whole gimmick went on a little bit long, but I still found myself as a whole liking the direction it was going. And then, I do feel very underwhelmed by the ending. But overall, I still liked it. But yeah, it's a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth. So I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah. And I give it a C.
Okay. So
it was a B.
We're all ballpark area.
Yeah, it was a B until that last episode. I went, oh, dang it.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Pretty much as soon as the sweats come out, I'm done.
All right.
As soon as your sweats come out?
No,
Yeah.
hers, but yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we're getting into spoilers now. So spoilers for WandaVision, the entire series. We're just going to have an open discussion about it.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. Who's been spoilering everything? It's been spoilering
Oh, there we
all
go.
along.
Should have gone with that.
So
There better be an 8-bit version of that song.
I hope there is. There's been so many. That was number 1 on iTunes.
Oh, cool.
The song, we're already in spoilers.
Is that the
song
best
Agatha
track?
All Along?
Is that the best track of the series?
By far.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
It's
really
so good.
remember any of
I like the bossa nova one. WandaVision, WandaVision.
Was it you or you who sent me the musical
me,
theory
yeah.
one, where it was like the theme was played in all
That
the
dun 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 is like
WandaVision.
creatively laced throughout everything.
Oh, cool. I want to check it out.
It's really. You did watch the video? You sent it on our.
I didn't see it.
I'll send it
You
again.
should know he doesn't watch videos.
I do too.
Anyway.
It's short.
So
I watch Golden Arm.
a couple things. Couple things that. Did you watch Golden Arm?
Not yet. I was at school.
A couple things that I wanted to bring up, just off the top of my head, since we were talking about it. So
Yeah.
Agatha All Along
Even though it wasn't.
reveal. It was though.
No, it wasn't. It was Wanda all along.
Well, it was.
It was Agatha manipulating a world that Wanda created.
Yes.
Wasn't it just grief all along?
Yes. So, and that's okay.
Wasn't it just a lack of consequences
bring it back.
for
Bring it back.
hypnotizing and brainwashing
people
people?
that have, people that haven't watched it. So the whole point of this series is that, and I called this from the trailer.
Well, we all called it, but
when
what
they
did you
said,
call?
well, they said it's showing Wanda and Vision together, and I was
Yeah.
like, well, and I remember, my first thought was maybe this is in between these movies, and I thought no, this is Wanda trying to deal with her grief after losing Vision in Endgame, after he was killed by Thanos.
Here's the thing: pre this show, everybody called everything that this is.
Yeah.
Throughout, new theories came up that are wrong.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, we all reached the same conclusion.
That is exactly right, Zach. That one of the things that kind of disappointed me about this episode, or about this series, is that I kept being like, oh, there's going to be a big twist. Like, okay, oh man, they brought in Quicksilver. They brought in the Quicksilver from the 20th Century Fox, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, there's going to be a crossover of it's the Quicksilver from the 20th Century Fox movies
Yeah.
because they couldn't say
That was
Quicksilver." in the
amazing.
You mean
and I
the
was-
one they liked?
yeah, so actually they played him, and I thought, "Oh, what does this mean?" And then they're kind of like, "It's not really him," and I was like, "Oh,
Here's how this show, even with
It's an inappropriate joke.
family friendly,
I like-
a boner joke you liked? You like that, Ralph Boner?
why do you have to keep saying
Because the show did.
it?"
The
said
show
once.
put it out there.
You said it more times than the show did. Now,
It's an insult to the fans.
okay,
Yes.
And fans of the ones that were
The
brought
joke
in.
was, but it was more just. It was the whole. It's
a
not really.
pot-
We're not
it's
really doing an
potty
MCU. With body humor aside, I was disappointed by the fact that it wasn't an MCU crossover to 20th Century Fox characters. It was kind of this cameo joke.
That's my problem. Is the show is like potential because guys, we're leading into Spider-Man, No Way Home. We're leading into Doctor
Multiverse of
Strange
Madness.
2, and
Potentially a Fantastic Four.
which is going to have Scarlet Witch in it, and this is going to be amazing. And I'm like, this show really is going all out because, yeah, like you said, the Fox universe, even though it's a little bit early to introduce the X-Men, I think, but they even mentioned Reed Richards could show up because they talk about the nuclear astrophysicist.
well, and their
there.
DNA is changing when they go through the hex.
Right, and then you have.
I feel like we need to bring it
Oh
back.
yeah,
in.
okay.
We
Let's
need-
bring it back real
okay,
quick.
So real quick,
But what it didn't do is actually try to do any of that because if they made Wanda the villain, it would have led in perfectly to all those other projects because she would have, with this Hex universe, drawn from the multiverse, drawn Quicksilver, and made it so Spider-Man existed. And granted, they'll pull it off somehow, right? But this was an easy lead-in. And what they
imagine
did
if
is they went,
so
what if this was a villain origin story all
Yes.
along? That would have been much cooler.
because
That would've
Scarlet Witch, spoiler alert, is an
spoiler
anti-villain.
in our spoiler thing. Yeah.
She's an anti-villain. Like
Yeah.
she's
Well,
a villain.
Well, she
the
was
daughter of
sometimes.
Magneto.
Yeah.
No, Wanda was. Sorry, if you remember, Wanda and Pietro at the very beginning, they were against the Avengers.
Yeah.
and then they get turned to their side.
Yeah.
So bringing it back again, just for
Yes.
those of you who are listening to this and don't, haven't seen the show,
Just watch it.
it's Wanda has lost Vision.
Mm-hmm.
She's in grief, and so she goes to this house that this lot he apparently bought for her was building their dream home. has a Scarlet Witch freak out, and her powers create this dome.
Yeah.
In which she can then control people and manipulate reality to the point where she can make it a 50s sitcom or a 2000s sitcom, and people act according to how she controls them. And that's kind of the point of it. And so she recreates Vision. And
Yeah.
in my mind, at first, it was like, oh, this is all in her head. But then you realize soon, no, she's actually controlling people, like getting into their brains.
She's
and
playing
controlling
house.
them. Yeah, she's playing house,
Right.
And making everyone else
real
play
people
with her.
and going inside their minds and making them somebody
Yes,
else.
which every now and then when it breaks, when they're able to break it out and they're like, let me out. I don't want to
It's
be
like,
here. I want to see my kids.
What's that Jordan Peele movie? Get Out. Get Out.
Kind of, yes.
Yeah,
Kinda like
sort
that.
of. So that type
That's
of thing.
another spoiler for another time.
Yeah, from the trailer. I've never even seen it.
But the thing about it is, and this is one of my big issues with
Okay.
the show, is that, and you already kind of brought this up, Kent, but at the end, when Wanda decides that she's going to sacrifice the Hex, which is the dome that keeps everyone controlled, and just let Vision be dead, and her kids, her twin boys, just disappear.
Right.
Then she lets it go, and all the town is just sitting there staring at her because they're angry at her. And then Monica Rambeau, one of the characters in this, like, they'll never know what you did for them. And I'm like, she controlled them
and
for weeks on end.
Kids
months.
were
How long was it?
Shut inside and having to experience the grief of an adult.
Yeah. And they had to do that forever. She tortured them, and then Monica's just like, it's okay, you were sad.
If they let her if they let her be the villain, that's worth it. This is all worth it.
Yeah.
This whole show.
Like if she wouldn't have wanted to give up of her I almost said vision, but yes. Vision, but
yes.
Of her control, and then was forced to by maybe Monica Rambeau or another character, right. And then she flew off in a rage, and like the Hex was destroyed, but she got away. That would be cool.
Yes.
Because then it would be like, oh, where's this going to go? But instead it's like,
so
right,
pulling it back just a little bit more. So we've talked about the Hex. The part of the show where I really got into it, strangely, was everything that was happening outside, because what Marvel does well is bring in these tertiary characters like Wu, for example, who's been in Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And you're like, hey, I like that guy. He's really likable. And then all of a sudden you see Kat Dennings. I'm like, I don't hate her right now. And I hated her in the Thor movies.
Meow meow.
And I hate her again. And I'm like, this is working really well. And then they introduce Monica Rambeau, who we saw as a young girl in Captain Marvel. And honestly, I was like, this actress has it. Like, she has that star quality. I liked her. And then
I felt her parts were the weakest of the
and then
series.
the show did nothing with her.
Yeah. She had nothing
I was
to do.
so
It was
excited.
just trying to build up her origin
It's an
story.
origin so she can be in Captain Marvel too, but I liked her. And I was like, she will play very well. She's very charismatic next to Brie Larson.
Let me give you her character arc, okay?
I know, I understand.
Her character arc is, what's going on here? I'm going to go inside that Hex. Well, I'm inside the Hex. Oh, I got kicked out of the Hex. I'm going to get back inside that Hex. I'm in the Hex. Oh, I got kicked out of the Hex. That's her arc.
Yes, but it could have gone somewhere.
And
by the end.
and then I'm going to get back inside the Hex. Ooh, bullets went through me. Oh, well, not going to explain that.
I have these unexplained
Moving on.
powers.
What do you guys think about another visiting of the blip? Do you think?
Oh, meaning...
Yeah, the Thanos snap, where in this case she was snapped and then snapped back.
Right.
So now she's having to deal with, my mom, who we saw in Captain Marvel. Oh, she passed away a couple years ago. What do you think about another dip into that?
Confession?
Yeah.
I'm okay with the blip. I didn't remember really Monica Rambeau or her mom that much. I kind of went,
it's Captain Marvel,
yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Forgettable
movie.
But I'm okay with the blip because it is a part of the MCU. Yeah. It's part of that universe.
Yeah,
I think
the mythology of it's fun.
I think that's interesting because it's so morally complicated.
Yeah.
Just because Tony wanted to keep his daughter, everybody else's lives are messed up.
Yeah.
Okay, so meanwhile, the director of S.W.O.R.D. is named Director Hayward, and he is...
I think his name is Evelyn Dever. He's a freaking Marvel, a white guy in a navy suit. Of course, he's the bad guy.
He was, and I thought, and honestly, many of the theories thought he was going to be the big bad.
If you rearrange the letters in Hayward, you get Mephisto.
I was hoping so.
Mephisto?
If only.
I was hoping so, but what they did with him, and actually, guess what? He shouldn't be going to jail. He should probably be the hero of the story, except for at the end, they're like, here's the writers. How do we get people to hate this guy more? Because Wanda's kind of bad, and he's trying to stop her. Let's have him aim his gun at kids.
Yeah.
Like, let's make him a cartoon villain. And that to me, I went, oh, I hate that guy. No, wait, I just got manipulated into hating that guy.
Because the whole time he's like, we need to stop Wanda. She's controlling all these people.
And he was right.
They're like, how dare you want to stop her? And I'm like, no, he's got a point. He's like, well, and he's like, by any means necessary. I'm like, well, because nothing seems to be working.
Yeah.
You're going to get desperate.
Yeah, shame on him for wanting to save people.
And that was the bureaucracy side of it, where it's like, he's a bad guy. You're going to jail. Okay.
We want to make Vision a weapon.
Speaking of Vision.
Yes.
What did you guys think of the Vision character in the show?
Not super true to the character. So the original Vision is much more like Data from Star Trek, like
from the original,
from Avengers,
Age of Ultron,
and Civil
Ultron,
War.
they pull him off pretty well.
Yeah, and I like him in Civil War as well. But this one, it seems to be like it's an idea of him. So
it is.
Yes, I like.
It's Wanda's idea.
I like Paul Bettany's performance actually.
I liked when he started realizing the truth, and I'm like, I'm buying into this.
Yes,
yeah.
Once again, this is in episode 4 and 5 and 6.
But is it not weird that this is okay? So I understand when she is controlling people as puppets, but when she's creating something from nothing, like Vision is not there. The kids apparently are not there, and yet she is creating these and their physical interactions with others. I'm like, what is that?
The epitome of her power. Like they're the most focused, heightened piece of her power.
But if they are, how
three.
come they start having self-actualization and self-realization?
Joel, 2 words: chaos magic. That's all you need to know. It's like saying the word quantum in Ant-Man. It's quantum. It's chaos magic, and it is unpredictable. Hence, they are now.
And
they're
let's go
corporeal.
back to Agnes/Agatha's plan.
Catherine Hahn.
So
good.
Was she in the hex when it got
She
made?
was not. She showed up as soon as the hex was made. This is what they're saying now after the fact, right? They're trying to explain the show. She showed up after because she's like, some witch is controlling that, and I'm going to find out.
Was it like
how?
I could feel the presence of
Yes.
the magic, and so I had to.
But
check
how
it out.
does she get into the hex without Wanda knowing she's there?
She's a very powerful witch. Chaos magic. No, she wanted to know because her goal was and by the way, she's never shown up in the MCU before, but she apparently wanted to know what the hex was.
Well,
and so
if the beekeeper guy had gotten in and not literally picked the one manhole right in front of Wanda, he would have been in just fine.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
And because he changed into the beekeeper.
Well, so did
when he was in there.
Monica Rambeau. She made it in the first time just fine, and then it was kind of brainwashed at that point.
She was kicked out when she snapped it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do think that Agnes, got in there and said, hey, I'm going to mess around with this. Clearly, she's brainwashing everyone. I'm going to find out how and what's really going on here. Because then when she finds out, and truly what the show does so well is what comic fans have known forever, Scarlet Witch exists, and she's a great character. And that by the end of the show, that's what the show does. It says, hey, Elizabeth Olsen finally has a time to shine in this role. Mm-hmm. And she truly does.
She's very good.
And she even makes a new suit and like totally owns it. Yeah. Granted, do they even say why we should care about Scarlet Witch itself? No, it's just like you are now adopting this moniker just because you have the power.
One of the episodes ends on this big reveal of like, you're the Scarlet Witch.
Roll credits.
And I went, yeah.
But why?
The toys have been
the
called
general
out for
public
years.
has been calling her Scarlet Witch since Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
It's you guys in Disney who could not say that.
It's like Benedict Cumberbatch saying he's Khan.
Yeah.
It's like, who cares?
But I was going to say the biggest wow that I had was Pietro showing up at the doorstep as the MCU thing, because that was really cool to see.
It was really cool.
If it would have gone somewhere even better.
Well,
but
Peter.
Yeah, Peter. But even then, seeing Quicksilver and being like, oh my gosh, they did that. I was so impressed
gutsy.
with that.
It was super gutsy.
And then the Agatha all along thing, while I don't completely... She wasn't... I didn't think she was behind it all. That moment was so much fun. And that song has been played on repeat at our house since then. Like, constantly it's been playing. I love it. I think it's like a great song.
Yeah.
And I thought Catherine Hahn... I mean, she just chewed
it up.
It was amazing.
It's
like,
so
I think
good.
she really enjoyed that.
I mean, even monologued like a villain to the point where I guess Wanda knows how to create all those symbols in the hex.
Well, I mean,
like
it was mentioned once.
It was mentioned once.
That was the problem. Is like the Agatha All Along story was like, boom, let's get going. And
Yeah.
then the next episode was like, okay, let's go back and show everything flashbacks. And I'm like, we slowed down this.
And I don't want to like hate the show because of my expectations, but I really thought they were setting her up as truly a mutant.
Yeah.
Wanda, because there were powers before she was experimented on.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, they're saying that's because she's destined to be the Scarlet Witch, but I'm like, but
Yes,
mutants can't exist here. Like, this is time.
Like,
right?
The bomb didn't go off because she willed it not
And
to go
then,
off.
guess what? You can actually announce that truly her parents and Pietro's parents or father was Magneto. Or at least make a reference to it.
You think they're going to do that in the MCU, though?
They could, but then after Fox had the rights, the comics changed the story. They rewrote the story. Totally.
And they have a real problem on their hands with Magneto. Because the baseline of his story is that he's a Holocaust survivor, and we're too far away from that for that to be reasonable.
It's now a coronavirus survivor.
God, please no.
Please no.
Don't cancel the show.
Are they going to? But Kent, I'm telling you right now, if they bring in Michael Fassbender to the MCU, are you now going to become an MCU
if I
fanboy?
saw him or Ian McKellen in the last episode, I'd be giving the show an A+.
Okay,
Because they would have set him up because he's meant to be a villain. Hopefully that when that happens, he will be. I mean, Magneto, the character, because Wanda should have been. That's truly my only hope. That was my, who cares about all these big twists? They should have followed through because she is a bad person in the end. What she did to the town is bad.
That was bad.
Yes.
Every time she undoes something because it didn't go according to plan, those were my favorite parts.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
ooh, she is being sinister and wanting to remain in her own bliss.
But then she did that to Agnes at a couple times, and there was a whole, should I do that again? And maybe I have to go watch it again. Maybe she didn't do it to her specifically, but I was like,
she was playing along on purpose.
Is Agnes being controlled? Because there's the parts where like they wake up her brain and things like that, and I'm like, I don't understand.
Agnes was
how it works.
never woken up.
Was never woken up or
Never woke. She was never altered. She was never woken up. She was literally playing. Like even in the song, she's like fixing her makeup before she snapped out of it with Vision.
Right. I remember that.
So it's no, because she wasn't truly controlled.
But if Vision puts his hands on her brain and does whatever he needs to do to it,
Doesn't do anything.
So it's like taking out the safety on a gun that doesn't have a safety.
Yeah, it's not loaded.
Okay.
But she knows what's happening, so she's able to play along with it, and that's why she does it. Nobody else says, "Oh, should I do that again?" Because that's not
real. Now you're going to want to watch it again just so I can watch Catherine Hahn's part.
She's really good. I will tell you this. I actually like this idea a lot. I agree. My pitch to you is let the character arcs develop in these series, and then just make Avengers movies. Let them.
I totally agree, because now when I see Scarlet Witch in a movie, I'm going to be behind her, whether she's a hero or villain, because I like her character.
I don't want a Black Widow movie. I want a Black Widow Hawkeye series.
But the problem is,
you're getting a Hawkeye series.
Wait, you're saying doing series to set up the characters and then do movies?
Yeah.
But then if you don't watch the series,
if you don't watch a movie, you're
Joel. These are all, as Ryan George says, these are all episodes in the MCU. Every movie's an episode. People are watching every episode / movie.
It's true. Hours of homework.
I miss standalone movies. I really do.
But if you think about it, this is kind of standalone in a way, because Doctor Strange doesn't show up. This doesn't have the other heroes come in. Granted, you need a lot of preface to the story, but then it is really a Scarlet Witch story itself.
Yeah.
It gives time.
But you need so much backstory about what happened.
Yeah.
Could you watch this without watching any of the other MCU movies?
No, especially when they're like, she came in and stole the body of Vision, and then she walks in and she's like, oh, okay, never mind. Like, you would need to know what happened.
Vision versus Vision. Let's talk about that real quick.
Oh, White Vision versus
Yeah.
You mean Nega Vision
Color Vision
from Scott Pilgrim versus the World?
Oh, it does look like that.
So I was a little disappointed when it turned to punch, zap, zap, Harry Potter wands shooting at each other.
But then
they have a philosophical discussion. That I liked, because that got my brain working of like, whoa, that's pretty deep. And it works on Vision's level.
I totally
Much better
agree.
than punching each other and phasing through buildings.
It reminds me of the other final battle that I like in this series, which would be Dormammu in Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Where it turned into a battle of wits, not punching.
Yeah.
I do wish that she killed the White Vision, because I wanted her to actually say goodbye.
But how are they
going to
use him in the future then, Ken?
They could kill a character off and let it stick.
Never, ever, ever.
For Pete's sake.
But also, let's talk about that too, because then once they have this philosophical discussion and Hex Vision, the fake Vision, gives real Vision all his memories, which once again, don't quite get how that works if he's not really
powers,
Vision.
like the kid controlling bullets and photon.
Vision's also,
but then all of a sudden, White Vision's
person.
like, because White Vision, he's there as a bad guy, and he's like, I'm supposed to destroy Vision. That's my programming. And then the Hex Vision gives him his
basically holds a mirror.
Out of context, this seems so weird, but it gives him all the memories of Vision back. So now it's a physical presence that has all the memories of Vision. Flies away, does not come back for the rest of the series. Right. And I went, what the heck?
Yeah.
You just want to save him for later?
It's like in Endgame when Loki just disappears to create the Loki series.
Yeah.
It's just set up.
And I don't like that. I don't like that.
It's Iron Man 2. Just all set up.
So the director of this series, he said he did, back to the Quicksilver joke, he said he put in that joke because he loved the Mandarin joke from Iron Man 3 so much.
Hi, my name's Trevor.
Trevor Slattery, the actor. He says, I thought that was so funny how they subverted the audience. And I was like, you're not supposed to do that all the time, especially for everything in the final episode.
I wish somebody would subvert expectations in a way that exceeded expectations.
No, the problem is that everyone's so intent on subverting expectations that that's become the new norm. So you expect the unexpected. It's like, oh, they're saying it's going to be this. It's not going to be
There's this other series that the finale aired a couple months ago, which subverted everyone's expectations. And like you're saying, Zach, was amazing.
Yeah.
And it was a moment. And that is the success that this show has never had.
Do you, and that's I was going to say my final question for wrapping up here, longevity of WandaVision. is this one people will continue to talk about for a while, or will this be forgotten?
Diehard fans will eat this up and watch it again and again and again.
I don't think so, but I do think that the next time you see Wanda in a movie, you will be glad you watched it. You'll feel more connected to her, and she's getting the time that she deserved.
Well, and I would like to make an amendment
Okay.
to my predictions for this year. I no longer think that the most popular Halloween costumes are going to be from Dune.
No, it'll be the.
If Dune comes out this year.
I think it's going to be Agatha all along. It's going to be Agatha costumes.
And
That's
probably
gonna be
the
a
Halloween
thing.
costumes
I would
from
think
the
the Halloween,
2000s.
the Halloween costume,
The Halloween
from
costumes.
Because the Quicksilver one is legendary.
I didn't know joking around with Agatha, but I do think that Agatha Harkness is going to be a character you're going to see around. I think you're going to see a lot of WandaVision couple costumes. I think that this is going to be a WandaVision Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
So
I actually think that's a good call. I bet you the one that you will see more often though is the 70s version of them.
Yes.
with where he
good
has
call.
the longer hair and she's pregnant. I think people will do that.
and if they're clever, they'll do the black and white version, like paint their faces black and white.
That
do
would
like
be
the whole
clever,
50s
too.
thing. But
Yeah.
I think this is worth watching. That's why I give an average grade of a C, and because of Elizabeth Olsen. But after that, I don't think people should ever need to watch this again. My expectations I would give people is like, just consider the show to be a flat line, and you'll enjoy it.
Don't forget it's a Marvel movie. Like, don't forget it's MCU.
Yeah.
Because it is.
let us know what you thought of WandaVision if you've seen it, and please be careful of spoilers in the comments. Put the spoiler
please.
notice ahead of it. We don't want to spoil anyone on the show because there are some fun reveals and fun twists as we talked about. But let us know on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We want to hear from you. And I just want to say before we end, do you know what the most fascinating thing about WandaVision was
What?
for me? Please stand by.
And I killed Sparky, too.
That was intentional.
You have to cut that.
I do.
Can't say that.